Today we got to ride our FZR 1000. It's a 1991. It has been restored over a course of a whole winter, and I kept track of the hours. It comes out to about 900 hours, and maybe $1,000 worth of material, paint, a set of forks, a couple extra odds and ends that we needed for it. And since then, I have just ridden the wheels off it, and it has been just about as much fun as you could ever have on a motorcycle that now I've had it about 10 years, I think. Well, today is the kind of day we wait for all year long. It's supposed to be zero chance of rain. Sunny all day. We may even not get some terrible wind noise we got to edit out of the video. But we are itching to get a ride on the FZR. I've been thinking about it all morning. Having my coffee and trying to get motivated here because we have to do farming first. We're at the part of the year where we always take care of our little farming issues and run to the garden center and everything. And when we're done, I have the rest of the day to ride. It's not a bad deal. But of course, one of the problems I have, and I've had it for a long time. Whenever a day like this comes, the bike I want to ride is always in the back of the pile. I don't know. If I ever went for a job for a parking lot attendant, I could make that resume out. I could be they would give me top dollar, I'm sure. I could be right up there with Luciano, moving bikes around all the time, in and out of the shed, in the attic, and everywhere. Yada. What I really need is a bigger garage. I don't see anybody stepping up to the plate here and like these house makeover shows where they feel sorry for you and they put a big extension on your house. Well, my kids now have a big extension on the house. I'm the only one that doesn't have a big extension on my garage. Whenever I do this, I often think, does Jay Leno ever have this problem, or does he just say, hey, Joe, go get me that bike or that car, wax it up, fill up the gas tank so I can ride it? Nobody does that for me. Now, anytime I have the two big Yamahas out, I always try to evaluate and try to remember this. The FZR is a 1, 2, 3, 4. The R1 is a cross plane, and they are very, very different. But both of them share one thing in common. They have that Yamaha 10,000 RPM 4-barrel wide open punch. And I try it with it no matter what bike I ride to get the bugs off, get it cleaned up, get it as clean as I can make it before the ride. No, I checked the log and he's coming up for his maintenance, oil change, and whatever at 35,000. We've got just under 35,000 on this baby. And it had, I think, 8 when I bought it. It's been a fun ride for many, many years. And on a day like today, you know, 900 hours I put into the restoration and all of the money for the parts and all the effort. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. And we will have I hope we're going to have a really sweet weather day. Looks like it couldn't be better. And this is just the beginning of what we've gotten from the garden center so far. And if you look up into the back room, there's about 200 plants up there that are just starting. The farming season is underway. Now, this is what we've been working on for the past, I guess, about a week. We've got every kind of vegetable. We grow our own vegetables. They're all starting. And it is really, this is one of the hobbies we enjoy. Every summer we do a different garden, a different vegetable garden. And of course there's the biggest tomato growing out there, the FZR. This is really a labor of love. If you know anybody does this, you know how much time goes into this. Okay guys, who's hungry? No biting. I don't want any shark bites here. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Now this bike, there's a constant problem with this bike is the last time I rode it, we had a little dust and a little road salt or whatever it was on it. But when you put it out in the sun, I could see it on all of the polished parts and it was annoying me. So as I looked it over, I said, you know what? I got time today and it's such a nice day. It was actually nice just being out in the driveway cleaning up the bike, knowing that I'd have the rest of the afternoon for a nice ride. And today, the weather played out great. It was a little bit chillier than I expected, but I really don't care about how cold it is. It's only how nice it is. Having a sunlight means some of the photography will be a little bit nicer, some of the video a little bit nicer. And this bike has a beautiful sound in real life. And I don't know if it comes across as well as it should on the video, but it has a beautiful sound from when you're sitting in the cockpit of the bike and going through the gears. It really does have a beautiful, beautiful sound. One final check of the weather, and it's supposed to be spectacular today. May even get up into the high 60s. Who knows? We are ready. Now, some people only clean a bike when they're going to go ride with their friends or go to a meetup or go to hang out at Perry's or whatever. I clean the bike every time I ride it. I hope. Most of the time anyway. And I enjoy having a clean bike. Now, shame on me. That wind slayer, while I was adjusting the camera and getting everything ready, I pushed the wind slayer a little bit over the lens on the left side. I have a permanent solution for that. I'll show that on one of the future videos. But that's the kind of thing that can happen when you're not fully paying attention in the morning. For me, the whole reason for having these older bikes is each one is unique, each one is different, each one has a different sound, a different feeling to the way it takes the gas, a different tendency to do this or to do that. And if you only have one bike, I don't know, maybe it gets a little boring. This never gets boring. Now, this time of year, I typically fall for the same old trick every year. The first relatively warm day, so we actually went up into the 60s. What happens is I underdress, and then halfway through the ride, I'm thinking, maybe I should have put a little more clothing on. But it never takes away from the fun of the ride. And this bike is a lot of fun on these switchback back roads where there's a little bit of wet spots, a little bit of sand around the spots. It's a fun bike. And for some people, a fun bike would be a dirt bike, or it would be a Gold Wing, or it would be a Piper Cub. But this bike, for the last 10 years, has been totally entertaining to me, whether it's on the track, on the street, or being worked on. It's always fun. And with this bike, the Valentine is really more important than normal, than like, say, with the MT-09, because the exhaust is a little bit louder, and it gives everybody a little warning that you're coming down the road. And the Valentine, without that, sometimes you're in deep water. No, I'm actually looking forward to the time when this bike is due for a set of tires. I want to try a set of the Michelin 6s on it. This bike usually doesn't get good mileage on the tires. It's a heavy bike and the power comes on very suddenly like a big two-stroke. So, and that's not real good for for extended tire wear. I actually had a comment on the comment section of one of the previous videos from a fellow named Walker. He has an FZR and it's his favorite bike, and he had other bikes, and it seems like we have the same taste in motorcycle. Walker, if you lived in northern Jersey, we could ride together. Now, about the only accessory I wish I had on this bike, I wish I had a totally stock EXUP exhaust, non-existent, unobtainium, but maybe somewhere in the world, in Australia or something, that somebody's got one, they'll mail it to me for free. I don't think so, though, but that would be a nice accessory. Now, I'm always happy with the MT-09 and some of the other bikes that get, like the GS, that get relatively good mileage. This bike, when you pull in, it's a 5-gallon tank. Sometimes you gotta have a heart attack when you see what a full tank of gas costs for this bike. Amazing. And that's what makes you spoiled with modern bikes. Like, you buy an MT-09 or any modern bike, really, fuel injection and all the safety features, and then you go ride one of these, I call them dinosaurs. There's no feature. The feature is you got to do everything. And no quick shifter, and no ABS, and terrible mileage. Now, during the 900-hour restoration, Pokey got me a set of forks and a set of EBC discs and all the parts that he has helped me with in the past. Every time I ride this bike, I think of thank you, Pokey. Now, I worked hard on getting ergonomics exactly right for me and getting the bars I wanted and all the little things like the mirrors and things that contribute to making a comfortable bike. And after 4 hours of sitting on the saddle, this bike doesn't give me a backache or give me broken knees or anything. good point, of course, that there aren't a lot of FZRs still running around on the street, but every once in a while you do see one, and I hope Walker is still enjoying his. Hey, I think this is just a hell of a bike. But even the best ride has to end, and it's that boring ride back on Route 80. But even that, I know Karen will have some coffee ready and some lunch out on the porch, unless she's too cold. And when you're out on these rides, you almost forget how cold it is. Then all of a sudden you get home and you realize, ooh, it's not 70 degrees. It's a lunch on a porch day. Look at this day, Karen. Too cold on the porch. Oh my God. All right. It's never too cold on the porch. On a day like today, I don't even think about that 900-hour restoration. And that little repair we made here, it held up perfect. That's even on the video too. So everything about this bike makes it fun to ride. I don't know what it is. It's just a I don't know, just like a roller coaster ride. Anyway, we do like the way this worked out on every bike now. We've tested it on every bike, and having this bike, there's no way you can describe to people what that feels like when you're on that gas all the way out. And it's just a beautiful bike to ride. Handles great, and historic plates. You never have to pay another dime to register it. What a deal. So I guess the only downside of the whole day was that our wind slayer pushed its way over the lens, and it's on me that I didn't check it. I got to learn to check that a few times, but I have a solution for that. I'm going to put it on one of the future videos. I've been thinking about it all day, and I've been thinking of I think I have a really good solution, and that might be something you want to do if you have a wind slayer. Might be something to do before you have a problem, because the wind slayer, what happens as time goes by, it gets softer and it seems like it gets a little like an old sock. Well, yeah, old socks get like old socks too. And then when you're in some condition and you go to turn it on or off with your glove, you push it over. But we're going to come up with a better solution for that, I'm sure. But it didn't spoil our ride. It was a beautiful day. And thinking about when this bike used to be a Ferrari bike, thinking about that winter I did the restoration. We worked on the carbs one winter. We had a carb leak. All the work Luciano helped me do on this bike over the years, and all the track days, this bike has been worn out tires. And every time I put a set of tires on it, I think I'm really getting my money's worth. And we hope you enjoyed the video. We post up almost every day, and we hopefully see you tomorrow.